think with the research that I do, because the experiments are brand new, the technology is brand new, but we actually have a product at the end of it which we are trying to make. I think there is something there that we can show that this is how we use nanotechnology and this is how we use lasers. I love lasers, but this is how we use lasers to actually do lithography, markings on a surface to produce it. So you might have seen some of the incredible stuff that IBM have done where they move single atoms onto a surface. We can see it through a microscope, but that's never really explained very well. But to say that you use a tiny, tiny tip which has like an atom thick tip on the end of it, which is able to score a line into it and actually show that using both physical props and actually show the end product, that might be one way of explaining the science behind what we're actually doing.
I was going to go to Andy next to look at how to capitalise on the whole area of pop science. And what's really interesting is, I noticed on your sizzle, first of all, you had contact details, which I thought was very smart. Secondly, also, you presented yourself with the specs and the quiff, and I think that's something about branding which is very interesting and important. And also, you were very clear in your messaging on the how-to when presenting. And Andy, is that something you look for when you're examining pop science formats at your
Well, yes, distinction is very important, isn't it? And I think you've definitely got that. I think you should work on that. I think energy is really important, and you know, simplicity. I think the Dick and Don clip was great, and I think anything that you can do to carve out that niche. There's not very many people about. It's not. There are a lot of people about in other areas of academia. There's not very many people, and there is a thirst to inform and educate, particularly from the BBC and Discovery, which looks for kind of very pacey programming, and pop science that is not normally thought as academic first, but delivers the academic message through entertainment. So no, it's clear. I agree with what Victoria said. I think you've clearly got a good niche there. You need to develop it. I have to be brutally honest about some of what you're explaining. I didn't understand it, but that's because I'm not a scientist or academician.
It's important for viewers, isn't it?
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is if you can simplify your message for idiots like me anymore, then it might be.
But I think that's interesting that you design experiments in order to come up with a result. So that's designed for academics, and if you could parallel that by doing the same job again, this time designing it for the general public, and think how can I explain this result in a way that will then be understandable by a lay audience.